watching News Epicenter with me, Maria Shakil. The capital has become a battlefield after the arrest of Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia by the CBI in the Liquorgate investigation. The number 2 leader in the Aam Aadmi Party has been sent to CBI custody for 5 days till March 4th. He has been accused of taking bribes, falsifying accounts, destruction of evidence and criminal conspiracy. In court, the CBI argued that Manish Sisodia generated illegal profits through the liquor policy in a secret conspiracy with top liquor barons in the city. The CBI has argued that custodial interrogation is essential for a proper probe, and the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi has been evasive in his replies. Sisodia argued in court that the liquor policy was cleared by the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi in 2021, adding that he has replied to all summons and there is no legal ground for custodial interrogation as silence is not the same as non-cooperation. He also argued that the CBI has all of his devices and he has nothing to hide. The Aam Aadmi Party workers hit the streets in protests across the country, accusing the BJP of political vendetta, calling the charges completely false. However, the party has much to answer as no court has dismissed the case so far. In fact, with Manish Sisodia, 9 suspects have been arrested in connection with this case. Remember, no court has dismissed the case against Satyendra Jain as well, who has been in jail for over 5 months in a money laundering case. The question remains, with no relief from courts, can the Aam Aadmi Party duck corruption charges?
सिर्फ और सिर्फ राजनीतिक कारणों से और अपने घोटालों पर पर्दा डालने के लिए नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार ने मनीष सिसोदिया को गिरफ्तार किया।
कानून अपना काम कर रहा है। जो जांच एजेंसी हैं वो ईमानदारी से भ्रष्टाचारियों को कानून के तहत कार्रवाई करती हैं। दूसरी तरफ कट्टर बेईमान और अराजक अपराध पार्टी ना संविधान का सम्मान करती है, ना न्यायालय का सम्मान करती है, ना जनता का सम्मान करती है।
So what was the nature of arguments that played out in the Rouse Avenue court today? Let me take you through the arguments. The CBI, that is the Central Bureau of Investigation, has argued that Manish Sisodia directed the creation of a new cabinet note on changes in the policy. Manish Sisodia's battery of lawyers who were present today said that Mr. Sisodia actually had this entire policy approved by the Lieutenant Governor in 2021, that is Mr. V.K. Saxena. And hence it is the Lieutenant Governor who should explain as well. The Central Bureau of Investigation claims that Mr. Sisodia generated illegal profits via this liquor policy and that there is a conspiracy which was hatched in a secret manner. Sisodia's lawyers have argued that he has been raided, his devices have been seized, and he has always appeared when he has been summoned by the investigating agencies. The CBI, the Central Bureau of Investigation, has argued that it seeks the phone used by Sisodia since 2020. So all the telephone sets that he may have used should be given to the Central Bureau of Investigation for going through the data which can be retrieved from those sets. Manish Sisodia has argued that he does not have it, saying that he is a minister and he cannot give a phone for second-hand use. The CBI says that Mr. Manish Sisodia, who was questioned twice, almost like 8 hours yesterday, after that he was arrested, has been evasive in his replies. Manish Sisodia says that he has a right not to incriminate himself, adding that silence is not the same as non-cooperation. There are some more details in the case that has been accessed by CNN News 18. Number one, what is being said by the investigating agency is the clincher here is the case of missing file. The file which has details of the excise policy, the details of what was the draft is missing. The file, in fact, had signatories and the entire process of decision making. Where is that file? Manish Sisodia could not give answers about the whereabouts of that file. And then there is also the case of missing phones. CBI, in fact, has evidence of 18 handsets, 4 SIM cards that were used in that very small period from August 2021 to September 2022, for a period of a year, in fact. 3 mobile phones were used for 1 SIM card after the FIR was registered. Almost all handsets used are missing or have been destroyed, is what the CBI says. And then the biggest clincher is the aide in this case, that is Dinesh Arora, who has not turned an approver till now, but his statement has been recorded by the CBI, which says clearly that he acted at the behest of Mr. Sisodia, and he has told that instructions on changes to policy were made informally. That changes were made in this policy to benefit new liquor vendors. Some piece of breaking news coming in now. And this is the big breaking news coming in from the Central Bureau of Investigation sources who are indicating the evidence that is there against Mr. Sisodia. And it says that there is a larger conspiracy with an alleged South group or South lobby to benefit them through excise policy. Sources say the investigation has shown that excise policy was framed in a way to promote cartelization and monopoly, adding that evidence suggests 100 crore kickback paid in return. Sources are telling CNN News 18 that there is evidence that has been recovered to show that the South group stayed in a Delhi hotel from 14th to 17th of March, and they used their business center to photocopy and print documents which were allegedly made part of the GOM note on the excise policy, which was presented by Manish Sisodia. In fact, evidence has been gathered in the form of chats of this South group, which shows a massive profit margin of 12%. Sources are saying that Manish Sisodia will be confronted with all this evidence in the next 5 days. Arunima is joining me live. Arunima, it clearly appears that the CBI may well have a watertight case here.
You know, so far this question was being put to CBI time and again as to why have you not arrested Manish Sisodia if he is your accused number 1 in the FIR. When he was arrested, the question was put to CBI again, that is this political vendetta, that when you did not have evidence, yet you questioned him and then arrested him. So now CBI officials, after the court has appreciated the evidence that they have and has extended 5 days police custody, now they are willing to share exactly what is the evidence against Mr. Sisodia. If you give me 2 minutes, I can just break down what CBI has so far. Number one, the charge that the overall margin was increased from 5% to 12% for those who were applying for the license. The CBI's charge is that in lieu of this, 100 crore rupees was taken by Vijay Nair, an alleged close associate of Manish Sisodia, upfront as an advance kickback. The second charge is that there was an expert committee that was formed in 2021-2022 to study what was being proposed in terms of the new excise policy. What the expert group suggested, this is what CBI claims, was not to the liking of Manish Sisodia. So then legal advice was taken and this expert committee report was also thrown up for public comment. But again, what was the feedback given by the legal experts was not to their liking. The CBI alleges that the GOM was then formed to overshadow and to overstep what the legal experts were suggesting. Now, how was this GOM recommendation also brought about? What was the conspiracy there? We just told our viewers that the South Group, which is a loose name for all those who were from the southern part of India and who were part of this greater cartel as per CBI and ED, they had come to Delhi and they stayed at a Delhi hotel between 14th and 17th of March. On 18th March, Manish Sisodia handed over a draft of the GOM recommendation with all those details that the South Group had photocopied and printed at the business center. There are witnesses who suggest that these two were identical. What Sisodia put up before GOM and what the South Group had printed at the hotel were identical. But what was the process of formulation of this GOM report that Mr. Sisodia presented? That file is missing. That is the allegation of conspiracy number one. Number two, there are two suggestions that has been recovered by CBI by accessing the chats of various members of the South Group. And in those chats, at least two recommendations which were finally included in the GOM recommendations have also come up. What CBI is alleging is that there was an application moved by Indo Spirits. This was owned by Mr. Mahendru. And this was the second application that he was moving in contravention of the laid down procedure. Immediately after the application was filed, Mr. Sisodia allegedly told the excise commissioner that this must be approved. What CBI is asking is, how did the minister know that a second application was being filed so soon? He had no business to know unless there was a conspiracy.
Several conspiracies that the evidence of which may well be with the Central Bureau of Investigation. Arunima, appreciate your time. Let me bring in my guests. GVL Narasimha Rao, Member of Parliament of the BJP, Hari Shankar Gupta, Congress spokesperson, Priyanka Kakkar, Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson, Shantanu Sen, former Joint Director of the CBI, Kapil Sankla, senior lawyer. Priyanka Kakkar, a case of missing file, multiple phone sets used. There is statement recorded of those who have been closely associated with Mr. Sisodia, and now more evidence in terms of the South Group involved in conspiracy. How long will the Aam Aadmi Party continue to say that this is witch hunt?
Good evening, Maria. It will take a few years now to absolve us of these charges because that court takes that much time. But I can tell you, Maria, even today you may have read excerpts from the charge sheet, but the CBI had a very different argument in court. The CBI said the policy was communicated verbally. They did not talk about handing over any draft policy. It may be in the charge sheet, but the argument was verbal. There are other such lacunas. You spoke about 3 mobile phones and 1 SIM. When the mobile phone was confiscated by the CBI in the last interrogation, he is a minister who holds 18 portfolios. He needs a new mobile set and a new SIM will be used. Anyway, now the thing, Maria, is that, okay, there is an investigation ongoing. We have already been in jail without even the charges being proved. Now the question arises that there was this company in Mauritius which had on one pata, there were 6 companies and they transferred 42,000 to Adani. When will the JPC sit on that? Who did that money belong to? Whether it belonged to Ugrawadis, whether it belonged to a drug cartel, whether it belonged to Bhajpa, how will we ever know? Because there is no judge. You are doing judges on us.
Okay.
Keep doing judges on us.
No,
we will face them.
Priyanka, my question to you is straight. We are asking questions to the Aam Aadmi Party because your Deputy Chief Minister is in custody now for an alleged corruption. I'm saying alleged corruption because corruption has to be proved. For the longest time, you have been trying to duck the question by raising other issues, like in case of Satyendra Jain, you said that he was in charge of Himachal Pradesh and that is the reason why he has been targeted. There is no election where there is a direct face-off between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party.
There is Adani. It is not about election. There is Adani. The diversionary tactic has been used by Bhajpa. There is Adani. We've been demanding a JPC. We've been asking on whose instructions did you use the investors' money, which जो छोटे निवेशक LIC में पैसा लगाते हैं, उनका पैसा आपने अदानी शेयर में किसके कहने पे लगाया? SBI ने किसके कहने पे लगाया?
It's very clear that as far as the Aam Aadmi Party is concerned, they'll continue to use this argument.
Maria, on
because
your show, I have extensively answered on liquor policy.
Yes.
I recall.
So let's respond to this, GVL Narasimha Rao. The question is, what about the BJP? If you are facing certain questions, will you be responding to it?
Maria, I think the Aam Aadmi Party is certainly very uncomfortable with all the corruption in this case. Is obvious to the viewers, obvious to the people. The manner in which the policy was, the manner in which, let me, I did not interject. It only shows your impatience. Please wait for your turn. The Aam Aadmi Party, which went around the whole country claiming to be a party of of
JPC,
honest from the
JPC,
heaven,
JPC.
today finds itself in such an finds itself in a
Adani.
corner. The corruption in this case, this is a textbook case of
Hemant
corruption.
Biswa Sarma,
The whole thing,
you
the whole
published a booklet.
You see,
Most
the manner in
politicians.
which commission was hiked obscenely from 2%
You have asked
to 12%.
questions, let them respond.
The manner in which private vendors, I think waivers were given to them, running into nearly 150 crore rupees. The manner in which government shops were shut down and all the private shops, all the liquor shops were given to the private vendors. They were given the freedom to fix the prices they wished. They were allowed to open shops until 3 a.m. What did the Aam Aadmi Party, in the sake, only for
This
the
is
sake of their
corruption.
youth?
That is why it should be jailed.
Did they want entire
Shops
Delhi
were
to
open
be?
till 3 a.m.
Did they want the entire Delhi to be converted into some kind of a toxic
849
capital?
liquor
A
went
place where you can
before
come
the new
and,
policy. Under the new policy also there were 849.
So I think they have not answered any of these questions. They are only using
Priyanka Kakkar,
political
you know,
route.
I
think
have
we
the
cannot run
copy-
away from the real
I
questions.
have
Please
the
answer the
copy
real questions.
of the cabinet
JPC
note.
Adani. Why
This
don't
is the
you answer,
cabinet
sir?
note, ma'am, that was put forth by the Aam Aadmi Party when they went ahead to withdraw this entire policy. In this, you are saying,
implemented. Can you
it is
please also
observed
who
that the
signed
reduction
that?
in number of vents to only 468 is affecting the government revenue adversely, and existing retail vendors are enjoying windfall gain at the cost of public exchequer on various accounts, including an account of non-opening closure of retail vendor. It is strongly emphasized that public interest is paramount and there should not be any loss to the government exchequer at any point, and hence there should not be either windfall gains. So you have accepted that there has been windfall gains, that there has been mistakes in this policy. If this policy was flawed and it was withdrawn, then there must have been something that has gone wrong, and that's what the CBI and the ED has investigated, and that is the reason why Mr. Sisodia is being questioned.
So you are saying that we gave a note and we said that, okay, we are not making enough profit from this policy and there windfall gains to others, and therefore you should withdraw it. That shows our corruption, you are saying? Or are you suggesting that during farm laws, when they introduced farm laws and they withdrew it and there was no question, 750 farmers died, you are saying that was all right? I am not sure what are you suggesting.
Okay.
Can you please clarify?
I would ask GVL Narasimha Rao to explain. GVL, this has been the argument. Just explain to her what exactly is the problem here.
No, Maria, the problem is I think they are short of answers. They are unable to defend themselves because this is an out and out a loot of public money. They are running away. Once she's going to Adani, another. We have debated all this and we will debate them again. Today we are discussing Manish Sisodia. We are discussing why he is in jail. We are discussing serious charges of corruption against Mr. Sisodia, who was himself holding the charge of the excise ministry. Why did he, if the policy was all right, why did they have to rush and close down the policy? What is the source of this money, the loot that they made? Why was the commission? Just answer one question. Why was the commission hiked to 12%?
Can you read that note again?
Let me bring in Shantanu Sen and Kapil Sankla and also get a word from Harishankar Gupta, because I have to move away from the politicians to
why don't you read that note
now.
again?
Kapil Sankla, Mr. Sisodia is a very senior leader of the Aam Aadmi Party. For him to be arrested and what the CBI has been saying in terms of destruction of evidence, and it has been also saying that there has been statements that have been recorded. Do you think the investigating agency has a watertight case? Or is this witch hunt as the Aam Aadmi Party is saying?
Let me answer it like this.
Yes.
Let me answer it like this. That when the CBI, when the prosecution went to the court and asked for remand, usually the maximum period of remand is asked. In this case, whatever period was asked. But the Honorable Court, after going through whatever evidence was on record, whatever was argued, and after listening, and very importantly, after listening to the defense lawyers, granted 5 days of police remand, police custody, so that the CBI or the prosecution or the investigating agencies can investigate the matter.
But isn't that
on the
routine?
grounds that evasive answers were being given? There's certain. No, this is not the norm. Wait, this is what I was saying. So the norm in a particular case would be probably 2 days or 3 days when you're talking about 5 days. And also the norm can also be when the court would say there is no ample evidence right now. I am sending the accused to judicial custody. Should there be any evidence at future date, you can come. So in this case, once the Honorable Court, having gone through the material on record, has given 5 days of custody to the police, which basically shows that there is certain material on record that has weighed very heavy on the court. And also to understand, this has been after the court heard some, very, very good lawyers for the defense, arguing for the defense, who also argue not just on law, but basically on the politicization of the issue, which has also been argued by my very competent friend from Aam Aadmi Party. So as far as whether the CBI has watertight case, at this moment, we have to believe that what the CBI stated did play very heavy on the court. And secondly, an FIR like this would be made against any person, and a person would be sent to custody if the CBI or the prosecution comes and says that evasive answers are being given. There is a case of non-cooperation. So let me just say, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. Just because you're rich, you're powerful, or you're a politician does not mean that you will not be treated like a common man in the court of law.
Okay. So it has played out before the court of law, and according to you, because 5 days of judicial custody has been given by the court, that is showing the direction in which the entire investigation is going, and perhaps the court realizes that the argument which has been put forth by the CBI may well be something that they would want the investigation to go in that direction. Coming on this, Shantanu Sen, CBI, ED, there are two investigating agencies that are investigating this liquor policy, which is being called as Liquorgate. Now, there is this entire twist, which of course was being spoken about in case of what is being seen as the South Group or South Lobby and the alleged kickback that has been paid. The CBI clearly is going into the details. If you look at what Arunima got for us, it has spoken about the 12% revenue benefit for the cartel. The cartelization is something that the Aam Aadmi Party has also accepted in its cabinet note of withdrawal. Mr. Sen.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Look, the position is that this investigation has just started as far as Mr. Sisodia is concerned. Let us see how the case was registered. As you know, in 2018, the Law of Prevention of Corruption Act was amended, where the powers of the CBI were drastically curtailed. CBI could ab initio investigate cases where somebody was caught red-handed or somebody had assets disproportionate to his sources of income. In the case of corruption, the CBI's powers were taken away. CBI has no authority to investigate any case of corruption without the permission of the government, not even make any inquiry. Okay. This was done because it was found that CBI was making some investigations which were probably uncalled for. Whatever be that as it may, CBI cannot investigate corruption without the authority of the government. So this is a case which the Lieutenant Governor, on receiving voluminous reports and on being satisfied that a corruption case existed, has asked the CBI to investigate. The Government of India has agreed, and therefore CBI is authorized to investigate. CBI has registered an FIR. The FIR has not been challenged. It has not been quashed. So as far as the investigation is concerned, it will continue, and CBI will receive all the support, that is our law of the country, during investigation. It wants to arrest, go ahead and arrest. It wants to search, it can search. But on that investigation, as a CBI officer, I will come to no conclusion. Because I have had cases where I have got a conviction in the lower court and the case has been thrown by the High Court. And then again I have got a conviction in the Supreme Court. So we don't know the law. We don't know how the courts act. What is evidence before the court today may not be evidence tomorrow. So it's very clear that the FIR is prima facie good and the FIR is being investigated. And Mr. Manish Sisodia will feel the brunt of investigation, and so will other colleagues.
But Mr.
And we have to wait for their guilt.
Okay, Mr. Sen,
afterwards.
I want to understand
we cannot pronounce any guilt now.
Yes.
And I am afraid
We will
this
not
parallel
not
investigation by you is uncalled for.
Yes. So,
in our
Mr. Sen,
time,
I want
there
to
was
understand
something
from
known
you.
as confidentiality of investigation.
Yes.
Listen to me. There was confidentiality of investigation. They were not exposed. How is the CBI exposing the investigation? It is uncalled for. We were pulled up by the courts. We were told, you cannot discuss investigation, and the phrase was confidentiality of investigation. So I'm afraid you are on a wrong horse. You are discussing investigation. You have no authority to discuss investigation. You can discuss the FIR.
Mr.
You
Sen,
can invest the manner of
I
arrest.
want to understand
you can
from you,
invest
sir.
the custodial investigation.
Yes.
But you have no authority to discuss the findings.
Okay.
That has to wait till a charge sheet is filed.
Absolutely.
It is now only an FIR stage.
Absolutely.
All
I want to
lawyers
understand
are present
from you,
here,
sir.
all senior
I want to
members of the
understand from
panel
you.
are present here.
Yes.
They should only discuss the case after the case goes to trial.
Sure. So
Not
I want to
now.
understand
Nothing
from you,
is
sir.
Open.
I want to
CBI
understand
is not
from
in
you,
the
sir.
open. CBI has not made any statement.
Okay. So because
Therefore,
that is
please
coming
don't
from the
discuss
sources, the
investigation.
CBI, sir.
The
I want to
FIR
understand
is
from you.
justified.
Yes.
FIR is being investigated.
Mr. Sen,
Yes.
when Mr. Sisodia has appeared before the investigating agency every time he has been called, he is not a flight risk. He is a person of eminence. Why do you think a custodial interrogation is needed at all?
Because he has to be confronted with the accused. If the CBI wants 14 days custody, CBI might well get it. Because that is the law of this land. During investigation, the court assists because the FIR is there. FIR has not been quashed. FIR is justified. Wait. Why are you jumping the gun? At the present moment, he is facing investigation. He will be confronted with the accused. You have no authority to quote the CBI unless the CBI makes out a statement. This is not done. In our times, we were not allowed to do it. The court used to pull us up for releasing the confidentiality of investigation. I have investigated Krishnamurthy. I have investigated various officers of State Bank. I was not allowed to speak on these cases. How are you quoting them? This is not just justified.
Okay.
Therefore, don't jump the gun.
Okay.
Don't discuss investigation. FIR is fully justified because FIR has not been quashed. Neither they have asked for the
Okay,
quashing of
Mr.
the
Sankla, make your point
so.
and then
The
I go
FIR
back to
will
the
be
politicians.
investigated.
Yes,
Yes.
please. Yes.
I just want to say this to Mr. Sen and to everybody here. Nobody is discussing or derailing investigation. I think it is our fundamental right as citizens of India, and
Now,
also the media also has a right to discuss. Just a second, Mr. Sen. Just a second, Mr. Sen. You can go on. Allow me a second. All the time sake, sir, is that we are not questioning the CBI. We are only discussing what is happening currently in the country and in Delhi. We are discussing what happened today in the court, and we are trying to understand it. There are certain eminent panelists. There are politicians. There are lawyers who are only discussing what has happened and how it might play out with the limited knowledge that we all have, either of law or of politics or of the media. That is all that we are doing.
You don't know the facts of investigation.
And also to say this,
you should not
the other
know
thing
the
that I
facts of
wanted to say very
investigation.
quickly is this: in an ideal world, nobody would be arrested. In an ideal world, unless and until it's a heinous crime or a crime against a person, what is going to happen is that the person would be released on his own personal bond. Unfortunately, this is not an ideal world. Unfortunately, people are arrested, and merely because a big politician or an important politician or a politician of some weightage has been arrested, as I said, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. What a common man suffers, any politician should also suffer. Unless the law is changed, this
Mr.
is the law which
Sankla,
is
are
the
you
same
saying
for everyone.
arrest means guilt? Mr. Sankla, are you saying arrest means guilt?
I am not saying arrest means guilt.
Are you
I am
saying
saying that if a common man gets arrested,
Then
sir, so can a politician be arrested when the
investigation.
circumstances are the same.
Arrest is a
That is what
process
I'm
of
saying.
investigation.
There is somebody
Arrest
else who is
will
also
take
being
place.
arrested.
If you
so
are
can
charged
he.
with crime,
In a
if I am charged
420
with crime,
case,
I will
in
be
a 420
arrested.
case,
That
if a
doesn't mean I
common
am
man
guilty
can
of
be
a crime.
arrested, or in a PCA Act case, somebody can be arrested,
Surely.
so can a politician. I am
I am not
challenging
questioning
it.
that,
I am
but
not saying that
arrest
he's
does
guilty.
not
All that
mean
I was
guilt.
saying, sir, is that if a common man can
Right.
suffer the fate,
He's
so
not
should a
guilty, he is
politician,
facing
unless and until you
investigation.
really change the law and make it a similar
Sure.
playing field for everyone.
Sure,
That is all that
he
I
is
was
charged
saying,
with crime, very serious crime. He should be arrested.
Yes, sir.
He should face investigation.
Yes, sir.
But he is not
That's
guilty.
exactly what I was saying.
You agree?
That's exactly what
He
I
is
was
not
saying.
guilty. Yet,
I completely agree with you, sir.
Right.
The guilt will
That's
be
what I'm
decided by the
saying.
court, not by
I'm
us.
saying
but we
the
can
same.
Yes,
discuss the
absolutely.
case, is what I was saying.
Let's move back
Yes.
to the politicians. Hari Shankar Gupta, the point is, why is, we have seen kind of opposition unity whenever it has come to agencies being, politicians being investigated by agencies in the opposition space. Why is the Congress going all out against Aam Aadmi Party?
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है। आप उसको ऐसा समझें, कांग्रेस पार्टी अगर उसको विरोध कर रही है तो उसका कारण है कि दिल्ली की शराब नीति का विरोध अगर किया है किसी ने एक लंबे समय तक, तो कांग्रेस पार्टी ने किया है। धरना प्रदर्शन किया है, केजरीवाल का घेराव किया है। हम लोगों ने तमाम तरीके प्रजातांत्रिक वो अपनाए हैं जिससे कि हम लोग ये कह सकें कि ये शराब नीति जो उन्होंने बनाई है ये बायस्ड है, ये अपने आप को फायदा पहुंचाने के लिए बनाई है, और जो शराब नीति बनी हुई थी वही दिल्ली के लिए उपयुक्त थी। तो इसलिए ये कहना कि कांग्रेस पार्टी क्यों विरोध कर रही है।
नहीं, हरिशंकर गुप्ता जी, यहाँ पर तो शांतनु सेन बोल रहे हैं कि आपने उन्हें गिल्टी पहले ही से प्रोनाउंस कर दिया, वो तो इन्वेस्टिगेशन हो रहा है।
मैं इससे आगे बढ़ना चाहता हूँ।
हाँ।
शांतनु सेन जी ने जो बात कही है,
हाँ।
ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है। सुबह से 6 डिबेट में कर चुका हूं, कहीं पर भी इन्वेस्टिगेशन को जिक्र नहीं किया गया। सीबीआई ऑफिसर्स जो हैं वो आकर बाहर हमें थोड़ा बताएंगे कि हमने क्या क्या डिस्कस किया है। ये जो भी कुछ हो रहा है ये हालात के ऊपर चर्चा हो रही है। और मैं एक बात यहाँ पर साफ कहना चाहता हूँ, मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि किसी ने भी इसका जिक्र नहीं कर रहा है कोई कि किंग पिन कौन है इसके अंदर। मंत्रिमंडल के संज्ञान में, मंत्रिमंडल के फैसले के बाद ये जो लिकर पॉलिसी है ये लागू की गई, और केजरीवाल की प्रेजेंस के अंदर ये तमाम बातें हुई हैं, तो केजरीवाल को क्यों छोड़ दिया जाए? केजरीवाल से ही पूछताछ होनी चाहिए। सीबीआई ने चार्जशीट में या एफआईआर में केजरीवाल का नहीं नाम डाला, क्या बीजेपी केजरीवाल को बचाना चाहती है?
आप तो
केजरीवाल का नाम भी उसमें आना चाहिए, उससे पूछना चाहिए। मंत्रिमंडल में बकायदा पास हुई है पॉलिसी, सारे ड्राफ्ट बने हैं, पास हुई है।
हरिशंकर गुप्ता जी, जब आप ये बोलते हैं कि बीजेपी केजरीवाल को बचाना चाहती है, तो क्या इस पॉलिसी में वो भी इन्वॉल्व है?
इसका मतलब तो यही है। 100% में।
चलिए, अब आप पर भी आरोप आ गया, जीवीएल नरसिम्हा राव। And then I'll give the final word to Priyanka Kakkar. Please go ahead, GVL Narasimha Rao.
You see, as per the FIR, as the excise minister, Manish Sisodia was named as the #1 accused in the FIR. And his own lawyer in the court today says silence is not non-cooperation. How is it cooperation? When you're as part of an investigation, when you're asked to provide information, to clarification, or to answer questions, you cannot choose silence. That cannot be. I find it rather very silly for any lawyer to argue that silence is not non-cooperation. So in any case, CBI, when it functions as an independent, you see today, are we not expecting our agencies to work independently and proceed against the corrupt? Do you want political protection for all political leaders? So irrespective of the nature of charges, corrupt charges against them, they should receive protection because they are politicians.
No, but
otherwise, why are politicians?
No, Hari Shankar Gupta is making a different point here, GVL Narasimha Rao. Hari Shankar ji, सवाल क्या है भाजपा से आपका?
No. See, I'm coming to that. You see, as per information available, you see, it is for the agencies to decide. It is not decided by the BJP. The agencies will decide who are all the accused and who are the beneficiaries of this scam. And it can reach anybody. Why should it stop at Manish Sisodia? I don't know. If they have evidence against somebody else or chief minister, they will proceed against him as well. You see, unlike Kejriwal, today, I think somebody must show a mirror to Kejriwal. He went around the country making false allegations against every leader, could not prove any of them, and sought apology from scores of people in political class. Today, when there is mountain of evidence against his own party and leaders, he claims innocence. I think this can't be, the cycle hasn't just turned full circle. Today, he himself is in the dock. The Aam Aadmi Party is in the dock, and they must explain why Aam Aadmi Party or Manish Sisodia or Arvind Kejriwal should not be called outrightly, egregiously corrupt. The AAP leaders should explain. Okay.
Let me give the final word to Priyanka Kakkar. Priyanka Kakkar, the question is that I'd asked you this question. Satyendra Jain is continuing in the cabinet. He continues to be a minister. Mr. Sisodia is a minister, someone who holds 18 portfolios. These are important portfolios, including education. And if he goes to jail, will he continue as a minister?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because they have ensured that all of our ministers have had at least one visit to jail, and they have ensured that Adani is protected and there's no JPC probe on Adani despite definite and many requests. Also, it is the tragedy of the times that we live in that the sitting member of parliament is making untrue and misleading statements on your television. It is, sir, it's just unfortunate for the times that we live in. My question to you, sir, is okay. अब आप ये सारी बातें छोड़ें, ये बता दीजिए कि सर आपने हम पे जांच बिठा ली, हमें जेल भी भेज दिया सजा से पहले, और ये लगातार हमारे साथ होता रहता है. हम सिर्फ एक जांच की मांग कर रहे हैं सर, जेपीसी की. आप वो क्यों नहीं बिठा रहे? बस सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन है सर. हम तो भुगत ही रहे, हमें तो हो जाएगी सजा.
We have been debating that for a number of days, and we will continue to debate. But your own, but Mr. Kejriwal has proved to be a hypocrite. You claim that Sheila Dikshit would go to jail when he becomes chief minister. He did not even file an FIR against her. It is Aam Aadmi Party which stands exposed today, and it is your turn to explain today, not to question others. On days when we debate other topics, we will talk about them. Today, the question is about Mr. Manish Sisodia.
From us in 2015,
please tell us why.
We had the ACB till 2015.
Please tell us about the hypocrisy of Aam Aadmi Party, and tell us why Aam Aadmi Party became rottenly corrupt. That is the question today.
Sir, who do you think is an honest man? Nitin Sandesra or Hemant Biswa Sarma, against whom you published a book that is the most corrupt politician? You think Yedurappa is most clean? That is why you're making him CM again. Who is the epitome of मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम राम आपकी बुक्स में? बताइए आपकी पार्टी में कौन है? आपकी पार्टी.
चलिए, इसका सवाल का जवाब जीवीएल नरसिम्हा राव शायद ऑफ एयर दे देंगे. जीवीएल नरसिम्हा राव, हरिशंकर गुप्ता, Priyanka Kakkar, Shantanu Sen and Kapil Sankla, thank you so much for your time. And let me go straight to the reporters who have been tracking this story very closely for the last 24 hours. Anshul Singh is joining me live from the CBI headquarters. Anshul, coming to you, is Mr. Sisodia back at the CBI headquarters? And will these 5 days of custody be at the CBI headquarters, or will he be moved to jail?
Well, yes, Manish Sisodia returned to the CBI headquarters minutes after that order came in at approximately 5:15 p.m. and approximately at 5:30 p.m. Manish Sisodia returned to the CBI headquarters amidst a heavy security that was following him. And yes, Manish Sisodia is going to remain in the CBI headquarters. I'll try and show you the visuals over here. The building right in front of me is the CBI building, where you can see that there are a series of lights that are on. And in this CBI headquarters itself is the jail cell in which Manish Sisodia will be kept. So yes, in the next, what we are expecting at this point is that in the next few minutes, the clothes and other amenities of Manish Sisodia will be brought here in his vehicle itself. And Manish Sisodia is going to be interrogated for the next 5 days by what we are being told, including the IO and senior officials of the CBI are also going to interrogate Manish Sisodia, because remember, the CBI is very, very clear of the fact that yes, there were many discrepancies in the manner in which this entire policy was initially drafted, and also the manner in which the policy was implemented in the national capital. And hence, there are many pertinent questions that the CBI needs answers to at this point in time, and that is the reason why the CBI is leaving no stone unturned in making sure that they have that list of questions with them of whose answers need to come from Manish Sisodia. Because remember, the main motive, the main point that CBI said today, that Manish Sisodia was still evasive in the kind of answers that he was giving, and he knew that he is going to get some time for the next interrogation to happen, and that is the reason why CBI went ahead and said that we need to continuously interrogate him, so that the answers that we are seeking from Manish Sisodia, that should come to the fore. So yes, the next 5 days are going to be very, very crucial, and after these 5 days, it remains to be seen if the CBI is satisfied with the the kind of interrogation they have done? CBI satisfied with the kind of answers that Manish Sisodia has given, or will CBI again ask for an extension of custody? Because remember, according to the law, CBI can seek CBI custody of Manish Sisodia for 14 days. Out of those 14 days, 5 days custodies have already been given. So yes, the next hearing that is going to happen at 2 p.m. On the 4th of March at the Rouse Avenue Court, that is going to be very, very interesting, and it remains to be seen if the CBI is still going to ask for some more time to interrogate Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia.
Let me get Ananya also on this story. Ananya, the argument that was made by the battery of lawyers who appeared for Manish Sisodia was that silence in his case is not being, evasive or not being non-cooperative. The question then is about custodial interrogation. Mr. Sisodia isn't really a flight risk, but why did the CBI go for an arrest and then has got 5 days for interrogation?
Well, the CBI has categorically stated before the court of law that Manish Sisodia has remained non-cooperative. He's not divulging the correct facts and is not, in fact, divulging the correct information completely. And he's non-cooperative in nature. Apart from that, they've also made a charge that he's destroyed certain amount of phones, which amounts to like destruction of evidence. Though that is a matter of trial, and we'll get to know as to whether or not this would come under the destruction of evidence, but this charge has also been leveled by CBI. But interestingly, what had happened before the court today, and the Central Bureau of Investigation securing a 5 days custody while battling against a battery of senior lawyers, that too not even fielding a ASG or in fact the Solicitor General, was something that was a little unprecedented. And this order, when the detailed order would come out, we'll get to know the reasons why in fact the court felt that all 5 days of custody that was sought by the Central Bureau of Investigation was actually granted. Because remember, usually in such cases, if at all 5 days are being asked, 3 or 2 days custody is given, and then things pan out, and when the investigation agencies come back, they show as to what they've done in those particular time period. So now on the 4th of March, when the CBI would be coming back, it would be informing the court what it has done, what investigation it has carried out, and what material has it gathered after quizzing Manish Sisodia, grilling Manish Sisodia for the next 5 days.
All right, Ananya and Anshul, thank you so much for your time. We are slipping into a short break. Up next, the battle in the Northeast. Latest from ground zero, as voting is over in Meghalaya and Nagaland, where we get you the big exit poll numbers, also from the crucial state of Tripura.